Dustin Poirier, a UFC lightweight fighter, recently made headlines for an altercation that took place at a Mardi Gras parade in his hometown of Youngsville, Louisiana. In videos surfacing on social media, Poirier slapped a man who had allegedly disrespected his wife with inappropriate comments and obscene gestures. The incident occurred as Poirier and his wife Jolie were participating in a parade in their hometown of Youngsville, Louisiana. As they passed by, a person who seemed to have a mischievous sense of humor created a sign that had a message directed towards Dustin Poirier and his wife. The message on the sign read, "Hey Dustin, your wife's in my DMs." The phrase, "your wife is in my DMs," gained notoriety after Conor McGregor yelled it at the Diamond following his third defeat to the Louisiana fighter. McGregor had insinuated multiple times before their trilogy fight that Poirier's wife was interested in him and had been sending him messages. Former UFC champ Jon Jones explains decision behind heavyweight move. For a good part of 9 years in his professional career, Jon Jones was the most dominant light heavyweight champion the UFC has ever seen. But towards the end of that run, people saw more of Bones' vulnerabilities through lesser spectacular wins. In 2020, Jones decided to relinquish the 205-pound title to finally give way to his long-talked-about transition to the heavyweight division. And in a recent conversation with SiriusXM, Jones gave a bit of insight on what finally drove him to make the jump. "The fear was gone. I didn't really fear these guys, and I wasn't happy with my pay either." Jon Jones said, "Take a look."
I stopped studying footage as much. I started just looking forward to another day at the office. The fear was gone. I didn't really fear these guys, and I wasn't happy with my pay either. I was starting to fight guys like Reyes, who had been dreaming of fighting me probably since college, and he was just relatively unknown to the general public. And so I just wanted more. I wanted to be nervous again. I wanted to have fear again. I think fear is healthy, and now we're in this position.
Ciryl Gane's coach clarifies comments about lack of training. Ciryl Gane's head coach Fernand Lopez has provided a bit of clarification regarding the recent comments Gane made about his dedication to training. Gane recently attracted a bit of attention for an interview where he suggested that he was lazy in his training and would only get into the gym when he had a fight booked. But the MMA Factory's Lopez clarified the Frenchman's comments in his own interview with MMA Junkie. "That's true. That's how Ciryl used to be," Lopez responded. "Before, Ciryl was the kind of guy that will train only if he have the fight. And since the loss that he had, that was a really good thing that happened. Is that Ciryl just changed his mindset, and Ciryl start to train even when we don't have a date." Let's hear it from the coach himself.
He was the kind of guy that will train only if he have the fight announced. And since the loss that he had, that was a very good thing that happened, is that Ciryl just changed his mindset. And Ciryl started to train even when we don't have a date. Like when we arrived in Vegas, we didn't know that we will have a fight. But still, I brought a guy there, Rida Metouche, who's one of the best grappler in France. I brought him with us in US, in Vegas, to be around so we can keep training with Ciryl every time.
Before we continue, don't forget to visit our website and subscribe to our free newsletter so you can stay up to date with everything that goes on in the world of the UFC in minutes. Click the information link above. And while you are at it, check out our podcast and social media accounts. Thank you for your support. Now let's get back to the news. Jon Jones believes his dream is about to come true. Former two-time light heavyweight champion Jon Jones is expecting a dream to be accomplished when he returns to action on March 4th. During a recent interview with TMZ Sports, Jones discussed his upcoming return and the period he spent preparing for it away from the UFC. With Fight Night just days away, it appears that the culmination of a 3-year transition is finally sinking in for the former light heavyweight king. And with that, Jones believes he's racing towards a long-time dream coming to fruition. "I'm grateful, man. I'm just so grateful to finally be here," Jones said. "Just 10 days away now. And yeah, I feel like a dream is about to come true." It's just a really surreal feeling. I feel really grateful. Listen closely.
I'm grateful, man. I'm just so grateful to finally be here. Just 10 days away now, and yeah, I feel like a dream is about to come true, and it's just a really surreal feeling. I feel really grateful.
Unbelievable.
Dana White cuts William Knight from UFC after horrible UFC Vegas 69 showing. William Knight's low activity rate at UFC Vegas 69 against Marcin Prachnio resulted in the UFC deciding not to re-sign him. MMA Fighting confirmed the news with UFC officials on Tuesday following an initial report by UFC Roster Watch. Knight lost to Prachnio in a one-sided defeat at UFC Vegas 69 last Saturday. Despite his knockout power, Knight was hesitant to throw strikes throughout the fight, totaling just 8 total strikes over 3 rounds per UFC stats. Knight received death threats from some fans after the loss, as he shared in a post-fight social media post. Now, Knight is a free agent and will now ponder his next mixed martial arts stop. Knight's split from the UFC shows that the promotion doesn't have much patience when it comes to fighters who are afraid to pull the trigger when opportunities surface. Who else do you think will be cut soon from the UFC? Let us know in the comments below. Ciryl Adesanya shoots down concerns of size difference with Alex Pereira. Former UFC middleweight champion Ciryl Adesanya recently shed some light on his fight last year with Alex Pereira. During a recent interview with Combat TV, Adesanya was questioned on several topics, including how he balanced media obligations and staying focused on the fight. In that same interview, Adesanya was asked about the notable size advantage Pereira had over him heading into UFC 281. The last stylebender was questioned on if he considered bulking up for the contest to better match Poatan. Nah, for me, I'm not used to walking around with that kind of mass, so I wouldn't want to do that in such a short amount of time, Adesanya said. Take a look.
Nah, it'd just be, for me, I'm not used to walking around with that kind of, mass, so I wouldn't want to do that in such a short amount of time. If you want to do that, you need time, and I don't like having too much time off like that. Like, it's not for me. A lot of guys, they'll fight once a year, twice a year. That's not me. I like to stay active. I roll the dice, and yeah, I don't need to do that. I feel like I can get the guy. I almost have the guy every fucking time, so I know exactly what to do to get the guy.
That's all for today's video. If you want to know the latest UFC news, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell, and click the like button so you don't miss any details about the upcoming fights. Thanks for watching. See you soon.